must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.
The government of Kenya is keen on the development of social economic infrastructure to support the realization of the Big Four agenda and Vision 2030. The ambitious infrastructure projects are aimed at opening up the country for business and bolster productivity, particularly in the agricultural, manufacturing and the service industry, as this would bolster employment opportunities. Part of these critical infrastructure projects include the ongoing 27-kilometer expressway linking Nairobi's Jomo Kenyatta International Airport and Nairobi's Westlands. Upon completion, the expressway will exponentially reduce travel times within Nairobi and thus help the country save man-hours, which is being lost in the traffic jams on a daily basis. The Lake Victoria Port Modernization Project to increase cargo handling capacity of the port and to increase Kenya's bilateral and multilateral trading within the region. The expansion of healthcare facilities to facilitate fruition of the country's universal healthcare coverage under the Big Four agenda. By speeding up movement of people and goods, the government is aiming to promote trading through reduction of travel times and costs.
Very good morning to you and thank you so much for joining us today. This is Good Morning Africa. My name is Miriam Ogutu and as usual we're coming to you from Punchline Africa Television station headquarters here in Nairobi, Kenya. I trust that you had a wonderful weekend. We do have a lot in store for you when we will be looking at the news making headlines this morning, and joining me on the panel is Douglas Kirimi from Meru County. Douglas, a very good morning to you.
A very good morning to you, Miriam Ogutu, and also to my friend Jevan Karanja, to our crew at our headquarters, and also to our friends across the world. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where they're watching us from. Thank you for having me on the show, Miriam.
All right. Nice to have you, Douglas Kirimi. And we do have also Jevan Karanja from Nanyuki. Jevan, good morning.
Good morning, Miriam. Good morning to our viewers wherever they are watching us from. And good morning to my friend Douglas Kirimi. Thanks for having me on the show this new week.
Okay, nice to have you, and indeed it is a wonderful week. And just before I get into the headlines, Kenya, the number of reported cases of COVID-19 this morning stands at 175,337 cases. The people who have so far recovered is 120,208, and so far Kenyans who have, or people who have succumbed from COVID-19 in the country is standing at 3,410 cases. And Uganda, the figures have really gone up. Just 2 weeks ago, I think the numbers were at around 43,000 with I think no sick person at all. But right now, it has continued to go up, standing at 61,977. And recovery so far is 48,160. The death toll is 428, and that is where we are this morning. And it's interesting because I do have a friend in Uganda, and she was telling me yesterday that there's a possibility that the government of Uganda is concealing cases, that people are really dying there from that country, and a lot of people are testing positive for COVID-19, but the government of Uganda might not be giving the right figures because the situation appears to be more worse than the figures I'm reading from for you here. So anyway, because we know Uganda is experiencing its second wave of the COVID-19. So let's just hope that soon they'll be able to get everything under control. All right, so let's now shift our attention to the newspapers this morning and on the Daily Nation. The main headline they are reading, Ruto mauls in Uhuru cabinet. President Kenyatta is presiding over a cabinet with divided loyalties amid reports that some members are only biding their time before they openly support Deputy President William Ruto's presidential campaign. The DP has himself said he has had secret meetings with CSS sympathetic to his political cause. The story is on page 45 of the Daily Nation, and just down from that headline. 2022 succession, Mount Kenya defiant. The emergence of two factions, Mount Kenya East and West, has polarized leaders within the president's camp, with the divisions likely to weaken the offensive against Deputy President William Ruto's hustler team in the region. Despite Mr. Kenyatta's insistence that it is the turn of other communities to move into State House, the declaration by some of his loyalists that the region will still field a presidential candidate could be interpreted as defiance. Okay, and then Form 1 selection results expected to be out tomorrow. I hope so, CS Magoha. You've kept us waiting for a really long time, And the Star newspaper, the main headline, how Mount Kenya split could upset a big wigs, diminishes the hopes of aspirants to turn the backyard into a stronghold. That is what we have there. Then ANC's Mudavadi dismisses NASA reunion claims. And then the Standard newspaper, the main headline, Uhuru won't save Jubilee as allies scatter. Political trends show that parties fade after winning presidency, and Jubilee is headed in the same direction, with Uhuru seemingly disinterested in saving it from collapse. That is the main headline there on the Standard newspaper. Just up there, tough terms for Raila in NASA revival, and then how libraries can survive a digital age, and who will fit into Rudisha's shoes, I think on the sports section on page 45. So let's just start with this conversation before we get to, what is happening in Mount Kenya. ANC Mudavadi has dismissed any possibilities of a NASA being reunited. Douglas Kirimi, is that even a possibility at this point?
Miriam, I've always said that, thank you for having me on the show, and thank you for that question. I've always said that ANC leader Musalia Mudavadi is a reluctant kind of a leader that waits for Raila to make a move for them to be pushed. And also you have seen people from Ukambani, you have seen leaders from Ukambani try to talk to the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, and also trying to bring Kalonzo Musyoka and the Rights together. These are people who have always been feeding on the political carcass of the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, and also his political stick, if I may call it that. And also when you look at them, these people, when they accused Raila of joining President Uhuru Kenyatta in government, we've never seen Musalia Mudavadi go to Meru, go to other places in this country and take over the role of a political opposition political leader in this country. We have never seen Kalonzo Musyoka come out strongly. They only followed the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga into government slowly and into his support for the handshake, that is. Because officially the Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Odinga is not in government. But when you look at them, Miriam, some of us can be more and greater opposition leaders than Musalia Mudavadi, Moses Wetangula, Kalonzo Musyoka, because these are reluctant leaders who always coalesce their political lives around Raila Odinga. As far as I'm concerned, at this they cannot be able to chart their own political destiny. They cannot be able to chart their own path, because Miriam, their path is always anchored on the Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Odinga and anything that he has to say. I don't know what they get from him, but they get a lot of legitimacy from him and get a lot of courage from him. If they were man enough, since 2018, Musalia Mudavadi would have posed a big threat to the very ambitions of Raila Odinga and the William Rutos of this world by posing as a strong leader, opposition leader, and also posing as a strong leader that can be able to take the people of Kenya forward. But as far as I'm concerned, Musalia Mudavadi dismissing NASA coming together is just joking. He is going to come back to Raila Odinga, and they'll come together and forge ahead like they have always done before, Miriam. Because Musalia Mudavadi cannot go beyond his Mururu village, Miriam, unless a miracle happens, because he's a reluctant leader. Why have we not seen a revitalized campaign or a revitalized, rebranded and a new Musalia Mudavadi since 2018, Miriam?
All right. Okay, thank you so much, Douglas Kirimi. And the story on page 7 of the Star newspaper, ANC leaders yesterday scoffed at attempts by ODM chief Raila Odinga and Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka to revive NASA. Leaders including Kakamega Senator Cleophas Malala, former speaker Kenneth Marende, and Hassan Dukicha from Tana River said NASA is dead. And Raila said he and Kalonzo have never broken ranks. Remember, during that funeral, Kalembendile's funeral, and they're saying they've never broken any ranks. But the ANC brigade on Sunday said the only way to revive NASA is by ensuring Mudavadi is made the coalition's flag bearer. They're saying NASA is dead, but for any possibility that you want to revive it, for it to survive, then Musalia Mudavadi has to be the flag bearer. Jevan Karanja.
Thank you very much, Miriam. And the NASA that we are talking about and the Jubilee that we have today, they are all struggling to be relevant because it's like time has outlived them. Therefore, what Musalia is saying, Miriam, he might be making a point across that if NASA brigade will be revived, then he must be the man to carry the flag as their presidential candidate. And that is the aspirations of all the presidential candidates, because they want to be in a coalition that has numbers, a coalition that has big wings. And to me, if they can revive NASA, then it can be a force to reckon. We saw they give President Uhuru Kenyatta and the Jubilee administration a run for their money in 2017. Therefore, it was a credible and a formidable force. But for Musalia Mudavadi to make these claims that he must be the flag bearer, Miriam, I think that position is not given to anybody anyhow. He needs to come out and portray himself as a man enough who can carry this presidential ballot, not to a presidential candidature, not to opposition, but to State House. But we have seen, and as Douglas is saying, a very reluctant man, a man who waits to be pushed, that is Musalia Mudavadi, a man who is just there, and he feels like people will just vote for him because maybe of how he looks or how maybe neutral he pretends to be. But that is not the reality with our Kenyan politics. One fact, Miriam, about our Kenyan politics, it is our politics are local. And we have seen for a decade now, former Vice President Musalia Mudavadi trying hard to bring the Mulembe nation, the Luya community together, and he has not achieved it, and it has been a decade, Miriam. Therefore, this man seems not to have even the capacity to unite his tribesmen. Therefore, it will be hard for him to convince other key political giants in this country to him to be given that ticket, because for us in this country, we first look at, do you have a force? Do you have numbers? What is Musalia bringing on the table? What can he bring on the table as a bargaining power? Therefore, he doesn't have the bargaining power, because when you go to Western Kenya today, Raila Amolo Odinga, the former Prime Minister, commands a huge following. Jubilee Party managed to get some substantial votes from the vote-rich Western Kenya. Therefore, when you look at how they divided their votes, we expected the likes of Musalia Mudavadi and Wycliffe Wetangula to have the majority of members of parliament, to have the majority of MCAs. But when you look at the reality on the ground, ODM and the Jubilee and the other small party, they command the huge following of MCAs and other members of parliament in that region. Therefore, when you look at that voting pattern in Western Kenya shows that Musalia Mudavadi has not even brought his community together. Therefore, when compared to Kalonzo Musyoka, compared to Raila Odinga, who has a concrete Luo Nyanza block. When you look at Kalonzo Musyoka, he has the Kamba voting block. And when you look at William Ruto, if he might join the UDA, William Ruto has the Rift Valley and not really Rift Valley, but the wider Kalenjin voting block. Therefore, this man is not even, he cannot bargain. Maybe he can position himself as a running mate or something. If BBI happens to go through before 2022, he can happen to become a prime minister. But the presidency seat, he needs to work more on himself, to rebrand himself, to rebrand where his voting block, so that he can have that bargaining power. Miriam, we are talking of a man who has been on a presidential contest. What did he have when he ran for presidency in 2013? Therefore, if you can go back and look at his history, Miriam, you'll see a man who is quite not in the right side of, he does not have that favor from the Mwananchi, if I can say that. Therefore, he needs to go and maybe rebrand himself and maybe position himself for a lower position, not really of that of a presidential candidate at this moment.
All right, thank you so much, Jevan Karanja. We are also joined by Samuel Tawish. Tawish, a very good morning to you.
Good morning to you, Miriam, and my colleague panelist. Sorry for joining you guys late.
It's okay. It's okay. We've just started, and the conversation we're having is that Mudavadi has dismissed the NASA reunion claims, and his supporters, some of the members of parliament like Cleophas and the rest, are saying should NASA be resurrected, then they will support it only if Musalia Mudavadi becomes the flag bearer. Go ahead.
So thank you so much, Miriam, for that question. And I think it's a very good discussion we are having this morning. I've had the benefit of going through the headlines in the main newspapers, especially here in Kenya. And I'm one person who is quite perturbed by the sentiments of Musalia Mudavadi, because again, and of course those who are allied to him, because again, moving forward, I think what President Uhuru Kenyatta and former Prime Minister Raila Odinga are doing is to try and consolidate support and make sure that they move ahead, they move into 2022 and even beyond as a united force and not the smaller disintegrated parties that we have seen in the past. I think from Musalia Mudavadi that the only condition that maybe NASA or any union with Raila Odinga or Kalonzo Musyoka should be about him or should be about somebody else and not Raila Odinga is self-seeking, and it's not something that really is going to give him any impetus moving forward politically. So I can confidently tell you, Miriam, that what the other leaders are talking in as far as the political alliances, the kind of course, the emerging political alliances and the unions in this country, as we head to 2022 general election, is something that we need to give a keen eye and a keen look, in the sense that if Raila Odinga, Kalonzo Musyoka, Musalia Mudavadi and others cannot join hands to make sure that they have a candidate who is going to face and steer ahead the legacy of President Uhuru Kenyatta, then this country is doomed to fail. I mean, as a people, we are doomed to fail. Because again, President Uhuru Kenyatta has made it very clear that he needs a person who is going to actually take the mantle from him and steer this country forward, not actually going to compromise the legacy that he has set forth for this country. So therefore, I think it is important for Musalia Mudavadi, Kalonzo Musyoka, Moses Wetangula, Gideon Moi and Raila Odinga and other leaders in the country actually to come together and form one formidable force that is going to actually face Deputy President William Ruto in 2022 general election. Otherwise, if they go separate ways, then we will have to brace for William Ruto presidency come next year. So this is something that is very serious, something that we need to give consideration. Miriam, all right. I submit.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, enough of that. Now we have also another story that I think will interest Douglas Kirimi on page 6 of the Star newspaper. DP Ruto to open UDA office in the US on Friday. Now, Deputy President William Ruto is set to storm ODM leader Raila Odinga's Nyanza political turf as he tests his popularity 13 months to next year's epic presidential contest. And Ruto and President Uhuru Kenyatta gave Luo Nyanza a wide berth in the 2013-2017 campaigns. They instead pitched camps in Kisii and Kuria regions. The Nyanza tour coming at a time when some leaders from the region, including the DP's longtime friend Migori, Governor Okoth Obado, are gravitating towards the DP, is planned for mid next month. But ahead of the visit, it has also emerged that Ruto is set to open a UDA office in the US as part of his strategy to widen his networks and woo diaspora voters. He will virtually officiate the opening on Friday. Douglas Kirimi, UDA has gone international.
Miriam, there is no international there. What we are having is a political pretender, a man that does not want to accept reality. And Miriam, it is 1 year to general elections, and I think 14 months or so, or 13 months, he needs to resign so that he can go to US and open up offices as much as he wants. Because Miriam, this kind of political pretense is what is going to form a basis in future. A basis and a foundation that is going to destroy the very fulcrum that owns our country together. Last night, I was having a conversation with my high school friend, and I told him there is a rivalry in our village that borders the next village, and that rivalry has been taken by my grandfather, it has been taken by my late father, and it has also been taken by me, and I'm going to get it to my sons to make sure that those people from the other end also get the same what I've always gotten from my family. Because it is something that we have always, it is inherent in us. Even the other people, it is also inherent in them. So these kind of political behaviors that we are teaching and entrenching in our society are going to focus into the future. Remember, the sons of William Ruto are going to inherit his political dynasty. And these are the same people we shall be competing with. These are people that the Tawi shall be competing with in Kilgoris. And also the children of Tawi shall be competing with grandchildren of William Ruto. The kind of hypocrisy we are seeing today, Miriam, the kind of political betrayal, the kind of political machinations and evil schemes that we are getting from William Ruto, it is not something that is going to die today. People continue to believe it is noble for them to run for office, win a political seat, and continue backstabbing their bosses and continue destroying the legacy of their bosses. People believe it is true, it is nature, it is commonplace for us to be able to besmirch our bosses and also take advantage of the political terrain of our bosses and continue besmirching them even in their backyards. The way we are seeing William Ruto doing in his own president's own backyard. We have seen William Ruto invest everything that he has done, that he has got in Kiambaa, where the people, their church was burnt in Kiambaa came from, when they were displaced in Rift Valley and they were burnt in a church. Miriam, this kind of political shenanigans that we are seeing today cannot amount to anything in the clear scale of things. And also, it is teaching our children's bad behaviors in future. Because people betray another person. People continue destroying the legacies of their bosses. People continue taking political advantage of their peers and also people that they have gone into politics with, because they will also cite William Ruto, a man who was holding the Bible, a Christian, took advantage of their boss. William Ruto in past took advantage of his own boss and also made sure that he has besmirched him in his own backyard. We need Miriam to depart from this couch of impunity that has been permitted by William Ruto. William Ruto has grown a kind of a cult-like defiance that is going to be inherited by other people. That is not good, Miriam. If William Ruto is a Christian enough, Bible-holding, Bible-quoting politician that he is, he needs to resign from Jubilee Party and concentrate on his UDA. Nobody is interested in that UDA. President Kenyatta is not running for president again. Myself, I'm not running for president. Karanja is not running for president. He can as well go and camp there. Tawish is not running for president. And the camp there in UDA, in America, in UK, in Dubai, in Singapore, wherever he wants to go. But at the end of the day, the bottom line is, Miriam, as I conclude my point, he needs to stop taking advantage of taxpayers. Imagine, Miriam, I have filed my returns. William Ruto is using the same taxes to continue feeding pastors and feeding people who he is calling Asura Nation in Karen, taking advantage of government taxes which we pay to be able to fund his luxurious life as a deputy president. And he has abdicated the duty, Miriam. I am ashamed of this man as my deputy president. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Douglas Kirimi. Now, Javen, DP is planning to have a tour in the Luo Nyanza apparently he's supposed to be visiting about 3 counties there very soon. But before he does that, it has also emerged that Ruto is set to open a UDA office in the US as part of his strategy to widen his networks and woo diaspora voters. He will virtually officiate the opening on Friday. So that is happening this Friday. So let me just read what Murang'a Senator Irungu Kang'ata said. He, Ruto, is in Kenya, but he will virtually attend the opening of a UDA office on Friday. He told the Star the office will coordinate the party activities, including registration of diaspora members and mobilization of campaign resources in the USA and neighboring countries. I mean, from what I've gotten from that is it's just the campaign resources. I don't know. Jevan Karanja, is it too early for the DP to open a UDA office abroad, or what do you think is the strategy here and his tour to Nyanza that he's planning before he opens that? after he's opened that office.
Thank you very much, Miriam. And I have asked whether it's too early for Deputy President to do what he is doing, Miriam. And I tell you, Miriam, the Deputy President has been campaigning since 2017. Therefore, it is not too early. He has been in this game. Therefore, this is just a culmination of what he has been planning since 2017. Because this is a man who abandoned his duty as a Deputy President. This is a man who has concentrated more on his presidential ambitions. And Miriam, I can tell you for a fact, that is what he is still doing. Therefore, he has been consistent on that. I think that is the only attribute of consistency that we have seen from the Deputy President in his political career, a consistency of being defiant and also concentrating more on his presidential ambitions. Therefore, I think to that, he has portrayed a consistency in even in sabotaging his boss. Therefore, that kind of consistency, I think, is what has come out clearly. And, you know, him opening offices, he can open office even in the Mars or in Jupiter, but provided, Miriam, he brings a concrete agenda, he brings a manifesto to the people of Kenya. But as per now, as we speak, since he started his campaigns in 2017, his presidential ambitions in 2017, he has not brought to Kenyans a concrete or ideological or a futuristic plan that he will lay on table, a futuristic plan that will try to execute to see that Kenyans' living standards are improved. What we have seen him bring on table is a hustler for the dynasty narrative that is quite destructive in nature, something that is toxic, something that is dividing Kenya. That is what he has brought on the table. Therefore, if we can judge him for 34 years he has been campaigning, there is nothing substance apart from telling the people he terms as hustler, they will form the next government. But Miriam, the kind of guys that we see him going around, they are not hustlers. These guys, they are rich, Miriam. They are not even mama bogas. They are not boda guys. Therefore, he has been using this narrative just to get some sympathy votes, just to whip some emotions from Kenyans who are struggling. And because of 1 or 2, 3 reasons, they feel like the government of the day is what has bestowed to them these kind of problems. Therefore, that is what Deputy President has been doing. But on what he is doing, opening offices, even in Luo Nyanza, is a good step, Miriam, because at the end of the day, we want to see every politician in this country given a chance to go to every corner of this country to sell the agenda, to open offices, so that, Miriam, at least Kenyans will have a diverse, maybe even apart from going to their tribesmen, they can also have an alternative near to them. But Miriam, the most unfortunate thing, we saw Gideon Moi when he was going around to Nandi to get ordained as a Kalenjin leader or
something like that. Yes.
Yeah, we saw the guys who are thought to be aligned to the Deputy President stopping him, and to a point of where they were so furious, they wanted even to beat him up. Therefore, that kind of political intolerance that we have in Rift Valley, and I think this is where we have the big problem. We need also these guys, as the Deputy President is accommodated in all areas of this country. He comes to Mount Kenya. When he was in the Luo Nyanza, in the Madaraka Day, you saw the people of Kisumu, how they welcomed him warmly. They celebrated him as their Deputy President. We want to see that trickling down to his backyard. We want to see Raila Odinga. We want to see Musalia Mudavadi. When they go to 64 Stadium in Eldoret, when they go to Kapsabet, when they go to Iten, in Elgeyo Marakwet, given the same kind of warm welcome. Therefore, it should not be that the deputy president should be entertained to all other regions when he's not entertaining leaders of diverse opinion in his backyard. He should do that, should improve on that. I beg to submit.
Thank you so much. And point taken, politics of tolerance, I think, will go a long way in just harmonizing Kenyans. Samuel Tawish, your thoughts? And the expected visit of DP to Luo Nyanza. I don't know what we expect will happen there. And then before he does that, he's opening a UDA office for the diaspora, I think in the US on Friday, virtually. Tawish?
I think my sentiments may not necessarily be far from what my other colleague panelist, Devan Karanja, has said. Because again, this country, we need really to exhibit high level of political tolerance and to accept and accommodate every leader who is aspiring for any position to move around the country and sell their policies, sell their manifestos, sell whatever kind of ideologies they have for the people. And I think just like Javan Karanja has mentioned, we want to see the same political tolerance being witnessed and being practiced in every corner of this country. Because again, with Deputy President William Ruto planning this visit to go to Nyanza, that is Raila Odinga's perceived political bedrock, I think it's basically trying to try and catalyze or to try and disrupt the kind of comfort that has been there politically, and try to see whether he can get some support from the Luo Nyanza voters. But again, we should also look at it from this lens. Maybe Ruto's overtures in the Nyanza region could be trying to see whether he's going to get the reception, a positive reception in Nyanza, and so that he can use the same as a yardstick, maybe moving forward in as far as strategizing ahead of 2022 general election. But again, like Devan Karanja has mentioned, I think it is important for us to see every part of this country being accommodative, being receptive to every leader whenever they come to sell their manifestos and sell their policies to us, so that we can actually tell what kind of leaders they are and what kind of plans they have for this country and for the people of Kenya as we head to 2022 general election. Otherwise, it is just going to be hocus pocus. It's going to be business as usual, and we may not necessarily be able to get into a position of understanding these leaders and what they stand for in as far as the 2022 presidential contest is concerned. But Miriam, it is important for us to note, just like my other panelists have said, that for William Ruto, it does not necessarily surprise me that he's opening offices in Nyanza or is opening offices in the USA. The question then we'll be asking, they say there's an adage that charity begins at home. Why is it that William Ruto is not so much focused in opening these offices or visiting these places in his backyard, for example, in Rift Valley? I haven't seen him actually attend even a single church service in Tarbo or Sugoi or Uasin Gishu for that matter. But much of his concentration has been largely in central Kenya and more so in Kiambu, where President Uhuru Kenyatta comes from. And now he's extended the same. He has a culmination of what has been undermining the president and the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. Now we see him extending the same to Raila Odinga's Nyanza backyard.
Allow me to just interrupt you for a moment there. We saw how much disruption he brought to President Uhuru Kenyatta's backyard. Do you think this could be the same intention he has in him wanting to award the Luo Nyanza voters?
Yes, Miriam, I think you are right. What Deputy President William Ruto is trying to do, it is not, like I told you, it's not necessarily to get the support of the people of Nyanza. Especially the Luo Nyanza. It's about disrupting the comfort that has been there politically, because we all understand, mostly the people from the Nyanza region and especially the Luo Nyanza has been supporting Raila Odinga to the last man in every other presidential election that we have ever seen. Even at a time when Raila Odinga himself is not contesting for presidency, when he's given a thumbs up for any individual, any presidential contender, we've seen those the voters in that particular region actually coming out in their numbers to vote for a candidate that Raila Odinga has given an endorsement. So I think what Deputy President William Ruto is basically doing is to try and disrupt that and see how he can divide the Luo Nyanza voters and the larger Nyanza region, so that moving forward, Raila Odinga does not come out, if he's going to vie for presidency come 2022, he doesn't come out with a solid backyard of the Nyanza voters. The same applies to Western region. You've seen him making overtures, trying to divide the leaders in that particular region, trying to bribe some of them actually to abuse and make sure that the likes of Mudavadi, Wetangula are disparaged and cannot get the footing in their own backyard. He's been doing the same at the coastal region. You've seen him trying to woo the likes of Amason Jeffa Kingi, Hassan Joho, the governor of Mombasa County, and so many other leaders who have been coalescing around the Deputy President William Ruto. But the most important thing, Miriam, moving forward, I think Kenyans have matured politically and they know what they want. They want a person of integrity. They want a person of competence. They want a person who is very clear on the manifesto and policies. They want a person who is going to steer ahead this country and actually move along with the legacy of President Uhuru Kenyatta. And I do not think that William Ruto does stand a chance when it comes to 2022 general election. It does not matter the kind of strategizing. It does not matter how he's trying to woo the voters or even bribe some of the political bigwigs from that region. I do not think that Kenyans are really going to buy into his machinations, Miriam.
Okay, thank you so much. Samuel Tawish, now speaking of disruption, page 6 of the Daily Nation, Uhuru's allies defound presidency. President Uhuru Kenyatta's influence over Mount Kenya politics face a new test following a split among his allies on whether the region should field a presidential candidate next year. The emergence of two factions, Mount Kenya East and West, has polarized leaders, with the president's camp with the divisions likely to weaken their offensive against Deputy President William Ruto's hustler team in the region, despite Mr. Kenyatta's insistence that it is the turn for other communities to take charge of the presidency. The declaration by some of his loyalists that the region will still field a presidential candidate could be interpreted as defiance. Over the weekend, politicians from Mount Kenya West who are opposed to National Assembly Speaker Justin Muturi's coronation as the region's spokesperson infuriated their counterparts from the East with the declaration that the region will field a presidential candidate. Leaders from Mount Kenya East who have backed Mr. Muturi's coronation insist they must charter their own path, and yesterday they described as selfish plans by their colleagues to sponsor as presidential candidate. On Saturday, the leaders from Mount Kenya West who met in Nyeri declared that they will not settle for anything less than having a candidate for the presidency, citing the region's 6 million votes that they will put on the negotiating table. Is it Mount Kenya West, is it a spirit of entitlement? Or what is really happening here? What do you see happening here, Douglas Kirimi?
Miriam, I come from Meru County, and one thing I think now we need to set the record clear for Keraito Murungi of this world, for Mwangi Wairias of this world, and also for Muturis of this world. It is true that Muturi was coronated by some elders in Mukoro wa Nyagatanga, and also he was coronated as a Jorinchek elder in Meru. But a time has come for us to be able to think, not only as a region, as a country. Keraito Murungi was elected an MP when I was born in 1982. Keraito Murungi wants to sell us as the people of Meru using his own political party. Keraito Murungi and a party that he sold to Jubilee Party of Kenya. Keraito Murungi now tells us he is tired. If he is tired about other Kenyans, we are not tired. If he is tired, he should retire and go and look for something else to do. Miriam, a time has come for us as a people, as a country, to move forward from this backward kind of politics and all that. Speaker Justin Muturi has been a speaker for almost 9 years now. What has he been able to do to better the lives of the people that he calls Mount Kenya East? What has he been able to do to better the lives of people that he calls Gema people? This stupidity about Gema people being revived in every other election should not be able to matter now that elections are near, Miriam. Because this Gema association of Gikuyu, Embu, and Meru, whatever association, this is an association of old, tired people who continue taking the region backward. And also, Miriam, I have supported this issue of Mount Kenya East and West before, but after I have listened to Keraito Murungi silently when I was in a meeting that he was in the burial of our former MCA. When I listened to Keraito Murungi, I saw a lot of selfishness. When I listened to people who were at the Rusoi Resort in Nyeri, I saw a lot of selfishness from these leaders. It is about time they gave a chance to other people and other Kenyans to run for president. There is no a constitutional clause that says that the next president should come from Kiraito Murungu's choice, and also from Mwangi wa Iria's choice, and also from Mount Kenya region. Every other Kenyan can run for president. And also these people, Kiraito Murungi is an elected governor. Let him deliver to the people of Meru. The National Assembly Speaker, Justin Muturi, Bidan Muturi Njoka, should deliver to the people of Kenya through the National Assembly. All these people who are gathered in Nyeri, Governor of Nyeri, deliver to the people of Nyeri. This shenanigan of bringing us together during elections and auctioning us then after now, they will come back in 2027 singing Gema, Gema, Gema together. That time maybe I will be an MP or governor myself. I will be singing the same nonsense. God forbid. We need to be able to chart a way forward that is not about Mount Kenya, because this Mount Kenya issue crops up during elections. Gema is a goat or a sheep that comes to roost, a chicken that comes to roost during, a cock that comes to roost during elections only. It has not benefited the common man in Kiamba, common man in Nyeri, common man in Embu, common man in Meru, or any other place, Miriam. Even in Laikipia, where Jevan is, this Gema thing has not benefited anyone. It has benefited the elite and people like Kiraito Murungi, who continue masquerading as a spokesperson of people of Meru. Kiraito Murungi does not speak for me. He speaks for his children and his wife, and is the governor of Meru. That he speaks for the county government of Meru, specifically the county government of Meru that he leads. He does not speak for my two mothers in Meru, Miriam. I want to condemn this association of masqueraders who continue taking advantage of the people of Meru and other regions, telling us on what to do and where to go. Miriam, I want to ask you a question as I conclude on this, because my time is also up. Kiraito Murungi under party in 2013. Now he is singing out of Meru. He wants to start a new party. The other bus was removed the legs and all that, and it has nothing. And now he wants to form a new party. What did that party do to the people of Meru when he ran on the same and became a governor? Senator Miriam.
Douglas.
We are tired.
All right. Sasa alisema wheels zimetolewa. I think you can get new wheels. Perhaps that's what he's planning to do. Professor,
we are tired, Miriam. Completely.
The bus. Professor, good morning.
Good morning, Miriam.
All right. So we've been having conversations here. We've looked at a couple of things here, and now we're looking at, we started with ANC's leader, Musalia Mudavadi, who has dismissed the NASA reunion, and his allies are saying the only way that NASA can be revived is if Mudavadi is given the position to be the flag bearer. And we've also looked at what other issue have we looked at just before we got into the conversation of Muturi? Oh, we've looked at DP Ruto opening a UDA office in the US on Friday, and also he's planning a visit to Luo Nyanza, I think three counties. That is a part of his plan to visit and try to, or maybe disrupt the voters from that region. I don't know. So now we are on the conversation of Mount Kenya East and Mount Kenya West, and I think over the weekend Mount Kenya West came and said, be it as it may, they must have a candidate for next election. So that is where we are. So you can choose which one to respond to, Professor.
Let me what I want to say, that Miriam, I'm back to Nairobi after I had a very wonderful Mount Rongonot climbing with the young people. And yesterday I was wearing my specs. You know, I wear specs, and Dr. Mazang was shocked yesterday to see me in my normal specs. So let me start with the one of the Deputy President, Miriam. I have no problem him going anywhere in this country, because we have got freedom of movement. He can open his offices wherever he wants, whether in the diaspora, Nyanza, what. But you should remember, Miriam, that he is the Deputy President for the Republic of Kenya, paid money for the taxpayers' money to work for us. And the best honorable thing which gentlemen can do, and ladies, Miriam, is that if he thinks his campaigns for 2022 is the most important thing to do, let him just resign and concentrate in opening his offices. So you can't now abscond from Twitter, and that's why I have a problem with the Kenyan Constitution. You know that. Someone cannot abscond due to Miriam. Miriam, if you don't come to duty, you will be sacked the following day. Or if you come and do things which are contrary to employer, you will be sacked. I don't know why we have a constitution, Miriam, which does not take our leaders to be very accountable. Very unfortunate, and Chapter 6 of our constitution does not work. About Mount Kenya region politics, the Gema politics, Miriam, that's democracy. Democracy is about numbers, Miriam, and Douglas, the sooner you realize what political science talks about, what leaders do, is to see look for a way on how to be elected. These leaders from Mount Kenya, Miriam, they are the snakes, and if the snake wants to look younger, Miriam, it peels off its skin. They are peeling off their skins every election period, Miriam. The moment, Miriam, that they have got numbers, unless Douglas, you start telling the young people and the people around Mount Kenya that the kind of things you are telling us, that's the way to go. But the reality here is that the politics of this country, Miriam, is tribal, is regional, Miriam. As much as, Miriam, if they front someone from Mount Kenya, I don't see how they can just go and vote someone from Western, the rights of Musalia Mudavadi, the way he's talking. So, Miriam, that's an unfortunate thing. That's that they are making use of it. They have got numbers, Miriam. Even the Constitution, when we designed, Miriam, we knew that someone can come with simple majority, Miriam. You get you become number one, that is the kind of votes you get. We came 50 plus 1. And then we said you must garner more than 20, half of the counties, Miriam, that's 24 counties. You have to get 25% of the vote so that you appear to be national, Miriam. That's the most unfortunate thing. There's nothing we can do with the people of Mount Kenya. And with the current constitution, the way it is, Miriam, and I don't want to appear as a prophet of doom, Miriam, and as we are going to discuss the next topic of Somaliland and Somalia. When people feel that injustices are being done to them, they cannot get fair distribution of resources, fair distribution of seats, Miriam. People will also want to go for self-determination, Miriam. So this is the situation we find in Kenya today, Miriam. Those small tribes whom we cannot be able to marshal numbers, Miriam. It will reach a time, Miriam and Douglas, when we will say, no, we rather have our chief, you also go and have your chief. That will be very unfortunate thing for this country. But I hope that for posterity, that someone will just rise and will become a leader for this country, Miriam. The way Jaramogi Oginga Odinga was, the way George Anyona was, whom you people hardly talk about, and is the one who sacrificed for us to have this constitution, Miriam. I am very key when it comes to remembering the freedom fighters who have made Kenya to be what it is today. Let me just go to Musalia Mudavadi, Miriam. Can Musalia Mudavadi marshal any election, Miriam, beyond big accounts? Even does he have a grip of that big account, Miriam? When you are together, Miriam, you become strong. If he goes with NASA, he becomes strong, and Miriam, he can get a position. He tried in 2013. He knows what he knew how many votes he got. And Miriam, when you look at Musalia Mudavadi, Miriam, can he able to really marshal a national campaign, honestly, with all the resources? Does he have those resources? Apart from those ones who have got well-wishers who can raise for him, like Papa, like others who have rooted, who have rooted now that they have got funds, which they can just move around in the country, Miriam. So, Musalia Mudavadi angochea apangwe.
All right.
Otherwise, he will be shocked if he continues having that stand. The other day he talks a lot of economics. He talks about the economy. He keeps on telling us as if he's the only economist this country has produced and a minister for finance. He was, but during his reign, that's when we had this golden bag thing. He survived by a whisker. So you don't talk about, and Brother told him that Wycliffe, those brilliant ideas you have about the economy, you must be inside the government. You cannot talk about how you improve the government from the streets.
Okay.
We influence it for minister. Thank you, Miriam.
Thank you so much. All right. So we'll not continue with that conversation of Mount Kenya, but we shall revisit perhaps tomorrow because it's a story that continues to grow. But let's look at today something to do with the judiciary. And we do have a story on page 9 on the Daily Nation, fresh controversy over appointment of judges. The alleged alteration of a list of judiciary nominees President Kenyatta rejected has sparked a fresh controversy over the long-standing in-person judges appointments. Retired Chief Justice David Maraga has said the list of nominees the president had expressed reservations about had changed a position also held by his predecessor Willie Mutunga, and the immediate former Judicial Service Commission JSC Vice Chairperson Mercy Ndeche told the nation two of the 4 High Court judges nabbed in appointments done by President recently after a 2-year standoff were not in the initial list furnished to JSC in 2019. So how does the former CJ Willie Mutunga know that these names were not the correct ones? Chief Justice David Maraga would understand because he was a part of the JSC and he was the Chief Justice at that time. So this controversy seems not to go away anytime soon. Jevan.
Thank you very much, Miriam, for the judiciary that we have, Miriam. And I've been saying this, that we need to have leaders, and I hope the personality of Mother Koome and his experience in judiciary and in the civil service, you bring some kind of understanding between the judiciary and the executive. That is what I wish for her, because what we are having now is a judiciary that is not reading from the same script with the executive, and to some extent even with the legislative arm of the government. Therefore, we need something to be done, because when we have all this kind of push and pull, Miriam, we Kenyans suffer, because when we try to taint the image of our judiciary, when we try to injure the face of the judiciary in this country, Miriam, Kenyans will lose confidence in this noble institution that we go when everything else fails to work on our favor. When we are at the crossroad, Miriam, we go for our courts to get a way forward. Therefore, we need to ensure that the image of our courts, the image of the judiciary is restructured back, Miriam, to normal, to where the Constitution wants, where they will be the custodian of the Constitution, where they will interpret the law, where they will deliver justice to the people of Kenya without biasness and without any kind of fear or favor. And Miriam, to that extent, I wish the first CJ under the new Constitution 2010, Willie Mutunga, relax. He is on retirement. He need to relax and concentrate on something else, because now as we speak, we have a Chief Justice. We don't have a vacuum in judiciary. He should give time to Mother Koome to deliver on her mandate, because when he was at the judiciary, I have seen also the former Prime Minister complain that the Willie Mutunga, the former Chief Justice, denied them their victory in 2013. I have seen Kenyans complain that in one way or the other, he didn't work as expected. Therefore, he was more of an activist, Miriam, and that is who he is. Therefore, he should not bring all these kind of frustrations to the new Chief Justice that we have or to the President. He should give them time, and he should also understand that he had that chance. And the best thing, Miriam, President Uhuru was still the president. Therefore, some of these things, Miriam, they could have rectified then. Therefore, he should give space to the new Chief Justice that we are optimistic, Miriam, that will deliver and he will create a good rapport. And on the same note, the executive should not also act as a hindrance to a stumbling block to judiciary prosperity. They should also ensure that judiciary is given its space, executive has its space, and they should work interdependently without anyone seems to be suffocating the other one in terms of their service delivery. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Samuel Tawish, Chief Justice Maraga, who left office in January, has said that before his departure, he had been furnished with the list of nominated judges the President Kenyatta did not want to appoint. The former CJ has, however, said he was surprised because the names of the 6 judges that the President omitted are different from the ones that were rejected then. The politics of the judiciary.
Miriam, I think the story here should not be about who has been omitted or who has been included in the list. The most important thing we need to understand now and appreciate is the fact that President Uhuru Kenyatta at least has nominated the judges that he has have been sworn into office. And I think that for that move only, we need to appreciate and acknowledge that the President has made a step but to ensure that the judiciary is not ineffective or the judiciary lacks enough personnel or manpower to be able to deliver services to the people of Kenya. So the question of as to whether the names were changed or not changed, it is not up to Kenyans really to tell, because after all, it is the JSC that forwarded the names to the President for appointment, for formal appointment. So it is up to them actually to tell us which kind of names that were changed along the line
And maybe if there are reasons that were advanced by President Uhuru Kenyatta, remember, even when it comes to constitution making, Miriam, the constitution, when members of parliament originate bills at the floor of the House of the National Assembly, they go through those bills. There's a process. They have to forward the same to the president after it has been passed in the National Assembly for assentment to become law. But again, there are times that the president can decide not to assent, and he returns the same bill to parliament, maybe with some recommendations on what is supposed to be done for that bill before he can ascend it to become law. So we cannot continually want to force the president just to be ceremonial, just to rubber stamp names. If at all he feels maybe there are reasons enough that maybe these other judges who have been left out, or the names that were altered, that maybe there are some changes that were made. I mean, it is incumbent upon the Judicial Service Commission, because I'm sure when the president returns these other names of the individuals who are not appointed and those who are appointed, he must have actually given a note as to why exactly he did not, or he found it unfit to appoint these individuals to become judges, so or to actually get into the Court of Appeal. So, Miriam, I think that is where the discussion should be. This kind of push and pull that we're witnessing today, the misunderstanding between the judiciary and the executive, is not something that is welcome for Kenyans. It's not healthy for us, because it's going to compromise service delivery. But again, we have to give President Uhuru Kenyatta that ample time, ample opportunity to be able to do his work as the president and head of state. Because again, today, the judiciary wants to behave, just because we have three arms of government, the judiciary wants to behave as though they are equal to the executive. The judiciary wants to behave as though they are equal to the president. Take a case of the judiciary itself, Miriam, as we speak today. There are magistrates' courts. There are actually high courts. There is a court of appeal, and there's a Supreme Court. I mean, even in that hierarchy in itself, the Supreme Court is superior to the lower courts. And that is why sometimes even the decisions, when people feel maybe they are not happy with some judgments, they go to make appeals. They go to the Court of Appeal. They go up to the Supreme Court. And that is what we have been witnessing. That in itself tells you that the Supreme Court is superior, and its decision is final when it comes to making judgments that are judicial in nature. So, Miriam, when it comes to the executive as well, I mean, when it comes to governance, we have the legislature, we have the executive, and we have the judiciary. In this case, the three arms of government have to work independently, but again, interdependently. But again, the president or the executive is head of government, and he has to be allowed to have these checks and balances, to make these corrections if at all there are some errors. To be actually not a person who's going to rubber stamp and become like a ceremonial president. So in a nutshell, what I'm trying to say, Miriam, is that we want the Judicial Service Commission to come out and tell Kenyans exactly that the names of the individuals who are actually not appointed to the Court of Appeal, the president gave reservations on the kind of reasons, and they have to work on those reasons. It's not about actually trying to backlash with the president every now and then, simply because of the 4 or 6 names that were rejected. There are so many other judges who can be appointed to that position, and not necessarily the ones who have been rejected. We need to look into this and ask ourselves, why were they rejected in the first place? If there are reasons enough, if there are grounds enough as to why they cannot be appointed to the Court of Appeal, then perhaps we can look elsewhere and get some more judges to be appointed into those positions, and not necessarily these 6 judges. I do not understand why there's so much interest in these 6 judges that have been left out, and not the 40 or over 30 something that have been appointed by President Uhuru Kenyatta.
All right, thank you so much, Professor. The former CJ Willy Mutunga is now saying also he has joined the people who are saying these names and all the same names that were given in 2019. Some were removed and others added. Why does the former CJ even have this information? Maraga, I would understand, because he was at that time the Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya.
Miriam, you know, I have discussed this appointment of the 41 churches, Miriam. I have given my way forward, and nobody seemed to take in what I'm saying. But in one way or the other, Miriam, the truth is coming out. There is a conspiracy from the judiciary, Miriam, to wrestle power from the executive. And I will continue quoting Mother Comment that there is a contest of beauty between the arms of government. Each one for us to see who is beautiful than the other. But now I wish that they see that, Miriam, that they are serving the people of Kenya. So the fact that William Mutunga will speak the same language with the former Chief Justice, Miriam,
it means, Miriam, they share notes. They share notes. It is until when you saw Willie Mutunga wrote the letter of the president, the following day you saw what the former Chief Justice David Maraga did. So, Miriam, from where I sit, Miriam, I always tell you that Article 35 of the Kenyan Constitution is very clear. And those who are unders of the president or are advising the president, do you allege that someone is corrupt, is incompetent to hold in office, and then Kenyans believe you? Do the former Chief Justice want to believe that, tell us that the names have been altered so that we believe them, Miriam? I will pursue all the way. A tribunal must be set, Miriam, whereby those who have got information about so and so. In fact, at least David Maraga and the Willie Mutunga have admitted that the names have been changed. So it means they had the names, they had what were the issues, and they did not act. And Article 166 2C is very clear, Miriam. The president has to appoint someone with high integrity to the office, someone who is impartial, Miriam. So the president has got the names from the Judicial Service Commission. Do you want the president to appoint? Don't you think that he needs to be advised? Yes, with the people who are assisting the intelligence have gotten these names. May you look at these names? When there was checking of the names, he found that he has got issues with 6 of them. So are you forcing the president to appoint those people simply because the Constitution says so? Time has come for us, Miriam, to use common sense, and common sense has said, I'm saying here that we use wisdom. Out of this wisdom, Miriam, and for the good of the country, Miriam. For the good of the country, Miriam, the president has acted correctly. And Miriam, I've waited very patiently, Miriam. How can you be accused and you keep quiet? Why can't you hear this, the Mujurure, the Ngugis, the Odungas coming forward and say, no, we have got amount, we can speak to ourselves. Why haven't they even instructed their lawyers to go to court so that they can be able to defend themselves, Miriam? So, Miriam, the sooner these 6 charges issue rests down, otherwise it is going to bring the might from the office, Miriam, and some of these charges will not only leave the office, will go straight to jail if the allegations are serious, Miriam. I know there is one, Miriam, and I've got evidence, Miriam, I can say, without mincing my words. There is one who harasses the 8th agenda section, Miriam. I don't want to say who he assault. And the president has got that kind of information. You want him to appoint that kind of judge to the Court of Appeal?
All right.
So, Miriam, what we need to do, out of its own fruition, Miriam, the judicial service, Miriam, is failing the people of Kenya. This is what they should do. I am advising them, and they think they are not the custodian of the law. Law is about English. And as long as you read and interpret correctly, that does it. Time has come for Judicial Service Commission. If a Kenyan cannot move the motion, they have got the information, they can move the petition, and petition the president for the tribunal to be set so that those charges can be cleared or can be sent home. So they cannot have the information, and then they sit down. It cannot work. It cannot work. It cannot work out, Miriam, and we are not going to be people who are going to be gospels. The problem in this country, Miriam, everybody is discussing about this issue, and we don't know actually who is speaking the truth. So from where I sit, and I want to, as I submit, there is a conspiracy for those who have served the judicial services before and those who are serving. And hear this, Miriam. Mutunga himself has gone on record telling us that some of the spouses of the judicial officers or their handlers, Miriam, money is deposited in their accounts. Why can't he tell us those 2 charges now?
Okay.
How does he know that one happens, Miriam?
All right.
So long as he's not ready, I will take the same sentiment of the Prime Minister that the Mutunga should be the last person to talk about justice in this country, remembering on how he handled the 2013 presidential petition, Miriam.
Okay. All right. Professor, thank you so much. And very interesting, on the same story, I've seen Justice Dunga actually, the Daily Nation reached out for his comments. So I'll just read a bit of that. When asked whether he had been notified about concerns against him and whether he had any idea why he was snubbed, Justice Odunga said, the answer to the first question on whether he was notified about these things that were brought against him. So he said the answer to the first question is that so far I have not been notified, so he does not know what the problem is. And as for the second one, I don't know. And on whether he will sue to challenge the president's decision, the judge said, I haven't given thought to it yet. Yes, that is quite interesting. Douglas, conclude for us. You are the ones who are worried, calling for justice for him.
If the person Miriam is not worried, why should we be worried?
Hajafikiria atakwenda kutini to challenge President Uhuru Kenyatta and some of these things that are being brought up. Douglas, what does this say then?
Miriam, what we are having today is a comedy and judicial activism and also trying to sabotage other people in office. For example, if I'm elected an MCA today, a former MCA cannot come and dictate what I should do with my office and who should be my office bearers, and who should do this and do and this and this and this, so long as it is in public and the best welfare of the people. And also, Miriam, we need to also caution these other people who continue speaking on matters this country, and there are other people who are qualified to speak for and behalf of the welfare of the people, especially the Chief Justice, the Honorable Justice Martha Koome. Miriam, when you have former Chief Justices speaking of our matter, when you have people who have gone out there to continue entrenching judicial activism in our system, it speaks volumes about their character and for whose interest and welfare are they speaking, Miriam. We've even not seen former presidents come out openly to castigate a regime or a government that has succeeded them or even that preceded them. At the most, if you're talking about your predecessors, it means you're not performing. It means if you're talking about your successors, you're not performing to the you do not perform to the optimum. You have now started seeing problems the way I see football fanatics and football spectators know how to play football more than the people that are in the field, the people that are in the pitch, the people that are in the arena themselves. We need to also separate facts and fiction, Miriam. We are in a new dispensation. People want service and industry that is judiciary, and they don't want any shenanigan that comes out there. Because, Miriam, at the end of the day, when we have people who continue undermining others in office and all that, it brings us to a question. At whose interest and welfare are they speaking? Because judicial activism, Miriam, has an end. And to what an extent are they doing that? The people that we are seeing every day waking up, fighting very expensive petitions and also prayers before the courts, in our courts, we keep asking, for whose interest are they speaking for, Miriam? Because we have never seen them speak before. We need to be able to come and be arrived to this fact that we have a judiciary and let our judiciary deliver. We have a government, let our government deliver. We have a legislature, let our legislature deliver. And in this country, Miriam, we can move forward, we can all come together, solve our problems as a people, and move forward without the antagonism and judicial activism that we have seen permitted a judiciary of the Republic of Kenya for over 10 years now. And this should be stopped, Miriam, because at the end of the day, if we keep antagonizing the president, is the president going to really support judiciary to his optimum? If judiciary is antagonized, is judiciary going to perform optimally? And at the end of the day, if legislature is antagonized, are they going to deliver? So, Miriam, at the end of the day, if we keep this antagonism from institution, from individuals to institutions, institutions versus institutions, it is not going to help our country move forward. And we want our country to go forward because, Miriam, we all belong to this country and we have no other home. Lucky for those who have 2 passports and citizenships of other country, which are very minority of the people. Majority of these people, we have no other country. We have one country. We have one flag. We have one soil to defend and to live and to be great in this country. Okay. Thank you, Miriam.
Okay, thank you so much, Douglas Kirimi. Thank you, Jevan Karanja, Samuel Tawish, and of course, Professor Jared Onyari. This has been Good Morning Africa. My name is Miriam Ogutu, and we thank you for watching. We'll see you here at 11 a.m. with another topic to discuss.